Okay, we do it live.
We live?
Yep, we do it live.
Okay.
Welcome back to the annual. Um,
12th annual.
no, this is Star Wars annual.
Yeah, so
Four?
like 8th annual.
No, like four?
Uh
One,
yes.
two, three, fourth annual?
8th annual.
Well, it depends though, because we did the other one.
Yeah.
It's some in umpteenth annual.
Yep.
And we're here with Solo. So if that's what you didn't see any kind of thumbnail or picture, or don't know how to read like me, um, we're talking about Solo, the movie, which you don't have to read for.
Yes.
um, Fuck, man. The movie was good.
Yes.
Um,
Uh I think I liked it better when I saw it in theaters when it was fresh.
Maybe makes it more exciting too. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in that. You get the surround sound, the excitement.
I
Um,
have surround sound.
Also, it's like the first time you see it too, so that matters. It's like
Yeah.
it's less likely you'll find something. Like, oh, I didn't like that, or I never noticed that the first time. Some movies get better on a second watch. I would argue some definitely get worse.
There
Um,
was things I missed, I think the first time I watched, and then this time I saw and I was like, hey, that's cool. But
right.
yeah.
One thing I noticed is that I definitely the my jadedness at all the SJW garbage coming out of Disney clearly showed on a rewatch because I didn't
Yeah.
have any problem with anything at all in that movie. And then the second watch, years later, I'm like at the very end, I'm like, why is this like a 13-year-old ginger girl who is beating the shit out of fucking what's his name, uh, Woody Harrelson? I was like,
Cause it's
was
cause it's fantasy, man.
I was like, because
It's
wasn't she the same height?
fantasy.
Like she on the bridge, she was the same height and everything,
I could have swore, yeah. She
and
probably
like
had a man, the body double like they did with Taskmaster.
right,
And
and it was like you're physically the same size, as just as strong as him and everything. And I'm okay with that if it's like a suit, like a power suit. But then at the end of the movie, she's clearly her regular height and her regular strength. I guess she didn't do any feats of strength at the end, but
yeah.
it looked like a regular little girl, and I was like, yes. So what? Like that kind of took me out of it a little bit. And then of course they had like just a bunch of random people there, and I was like, I don't like these people. I think they're trying to shove SJW stuff at me. And I was like, I didn't think that the first time. What the hell's wrong with me now? I was like, oh yeah, I'm just jaded. Um, so
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't want to take that away from the movie necessarily, since I didn't have a problem with it the first time. But I do want to
I
bring
can't
that
remember
up.
her name, the
Uh,
girl, but yeah, the Marauders were kind of dumb, but
yeah,
they're
they
supposed
could
to
have
be the
been done
rebellion.
cooler.
I think they were supposed to be the rebellion by the end,
I think
like the
so, because
start
they were
of the
like,
rebellion.
we need this to start a rebellion or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it was like we're a bunch of people who all banded together, which it'd be cool if they were cool, I guess. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just felt bad. I was like, dude, these guys kind of suck. And they turned him into too sympathetic. I think that was the problem. It was like one's a midget, one's a girl. I think one was Asian, one was black. It was like, look at us. We're so sad and oppressed by the white stormtroopers, and we gotta band together. And it's all
There's
they
black
destroyed our
stormtroopers.
homes.
They exist. They're
Um,
under the helmet.
and yeah, right. And it's I just and I'm obviously I'm adding more stink than was obvious in the movie, right?
Yeah.
But it just that's kind of like the subtleties that I picked up on my second watch, which
I
really
don't mind
sucks.
those. Like if you use suppress like minorities and stuff to like do that, that's fine. I don't like it, but it's because I'm a supposedly oppressed minority.
Right.
But so I see that shit as just like what, like like a sort of here you go, look what we did. See, yeah, I don't care. That's all lip service. It's not
Right, right.
any, yeah,
You're
uh,
not making change. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like that's you're not
As
gonna
long
go
as it's
change the
not,
world.
as long as it's not like them pointing it out, like they're not like look, look, look. It was more just like a gentle. Here you go. Here's some crumbs.
Right,
Um, um, I would much prefer it just be understated and just left alone. So it was a little bit better that way in this movie than
right,
some I've seen where they're just like just hammer it into your face.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think yeah, like you said, it's overall I don't necessarily even have a problem with it. I guess it just depends on how much I've seen it and how for hand forced it feels.
Oh, it's everywhere now. It's
Um,
literally everywhere. So that's why I was like, I don't even pay. I'm just like, whatever, it's fine.
Because I
As
think
long
if
as
you
it's
showed
not just
me,
shoved in my face.
right, so I think if you showed me a movie that was like a bunch of little people, right, and they were all just like fucking enslaved and turned into clowns and jesters and shit or whatever, that'd be kind of fucked up, right? And I think it'd be interesting, you know, because it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. They're tiny, they can't defend themselves, like, so like it would be kind of interesting to see how that played out naturally in a world or in a universe or a planet, whatever the fuck where that happened. So like I think the ideas themselves aren't problematic. I guess it's the mouth that delivers them or the media that delivers them with the
yeah,
frequency or what the message is, because I don't like the message for the message's sake. It's kind of my problem too. I don't want to be
yeah.
told, hey, this is bad. No shit. I'm not watching the movie for you to tell me what the fuck is bad. I'm watching to see how these bad things interact uniquely in this universe.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
every story has bad
He,
shit.
he basically just like summed up a lot of people would hate for like that stuff.
Right.
Is just literally, hey, I just want to fucking enjoy myself watching this fantasy. All right. I don't need to be
Right.
preached at.
Yeah,
Um,
don't preach at me. If especially because if your writing is well done, obviously I'm not fucking stupid. I know when bad things are bad. Like, it just
yeah.
it feels weird. But and especially too when sometimes these fantasy stories take too much of our bullshit into them.
What do you
Um,
mean our bullshit?
like our
Our
oh look,
politics and stuff?
like well yeah. For example, like if you look at like I mentioned the scene, it was like a little person, Asian dude or Asian girl,
Yeah.
black guy. Like it was like literally the staple of SJW garbage.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there was a couple aliens I think in there, but it's like that doesn't seem natural to me. I think it would have made a little more sense if there was more like not our stuff blatantly posted on, right? Like give me more aliens, more different kind of unique stuff that would make more sense in the world,
Yeah.
like the
Well,
droids.
the thing was just literally just like, hey, our planets were getting attacked by the Empire, or like we were enslaved by the Empire and stuff like that. So I was like, that's fine. That's
Didn't they
not.
have
They're
Native
not.
Americans too, or what were those? Native Americans, or were they like Mayans, or?
Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
I was like, that was another one on the nose. I forgot about them. These people lived here and were peaceful, and they just showed up and took stuff and hurt them. I'm like, oh, I get it. That's America. You're really telling me how bad everything is. Like, I just got frustrated with it. Not a huge deal. I'm kind of harping on it. We've talked a
Oh
lot
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
So don't, whoever's listening, don't get me wrong. Don't go out there and say, yeah, remember how terrible it is. It's not that bad. But this is to bring up a point that this never even crossed my mind 5 years ago or 10 or whenever the fuck this movie came out. And all of a sudden now I'm bringing it up in conversation because it's noticeable enough, which is a big deal. But to segue perfectly into the next thing, there's absolutely nothing wrong, and one of the best characters in that whole movie is the lady droid, L3. She's fucking awesome. How do you feel about that, George?
I don't mind her. There's moments. Okay, I do like her. There's a lot of parts where I like her. Uh, I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I just watched this damn movie. I remember thinking like two or three things. I said that did need to be there.
Okay, I agree. I agree. There
Yeah,
was, especially in the beginning when her
it was a
introduction.
little much. She was loyal. So for
Yeah,
the most part, she was fine. Also,
right.
there was just a few times where I'm just like, would you just stop?
Yeah, I have to agree that there was a couple times she stepped over the line, but I gave those a pass because everything else was so good.
Yeah, she's fine.
Um,
I love the part where they have the rebellion, with the droids rebel in the mine, and then
yeah.
the what was it? It brought back the what's that shit, that thing called, that they put on the
Oh, the
droids to make sure that,
the control thing or
yeah,
whatever, restriction thing or
the control ship or whatever the fuck it was called.
yeah.
Yeah, they brought that back from episode 4. That was pretty cool.
I like when she talks
Uh,
to the first one though. She's like, "Congratulations, you're liberated." He goes, "Beep beep boop boop." She said, "I don't know, go for your brothers and sisters or something. Just give me some space now, scoot."
yeah.
That shit was fucking
Uh,
hilarious, and then he did it, and then starts a
I
fucking
love when they're in the
revolution.
fighting pits and she's like, "You're fighting for their entertainment. No, get out." And he's
Right,
like, "What do you mean?" He's
right.
like,
He's having fun. He's just sitting there in a boxing match, essentially. Like,
well, I mean, they are killing each other,
well, I
but
guess yeah, but like, well, they're droids. They don't know that. I guess they know they're repaired. I imagine.
oh, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
So maybe he's been repaired a few times, so he's not doesn't bother
Yeah,
him.
probably.
Dude, when she's talking to Leia or whoever the fuck that was
Kira.
uh about Han or no about
Yeah.
Lando. Oh my god, that shit was funny. She's like, yeah, it's all over you, but me and Lando, it's not gonna work. He really likes me, but it's that shit was so funny because she's like, yeah, it's totally obvious. Like, She just like plays along with it.
Yeah.
Because not any time in the whole movie has that even been like hinted at on Lando's side. Oh man,
When she gets killed, uh,
that's true. It did come out then, I guess, and that's why I thought maybe that's what made it even better to me. I guess was
yeah,
like he didn't show any of that the whole movie, and she's talking about it so candidly. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't see that at all. And then she dies, and like, it kind of comes out. I was like, yo, he's a little softy. Um,
Or was it just for the navigation computer?
bro, no, it can't be.
You can't know, right? They didn't really. Uh,
I mean, it's true.
that could
Um,
explain why he's always like my ship at the originals.
maybe because like he just also I think he's a shitty pilot. If you look, she did all the work
Right?
and she knew everything. I was like, I don't think he's actually a good pilot. I also don't think Han's a good pilot either. That fucker crashed 3 out of 3 ships he got in. He he crashed the car in the beginning.
Hey, he got away from that thing.
No,
The
that fucker.
space Shimmegroth, whatever the hell you want to call it.
I
Uh,
guess, but he did. I mean, technically, I guess he did. He punched the
oh
boosters or
yeah, they
whatever.
also brought back why remember in episode 4 they said the escape pods were jettisoned. I just assumed that they did it in episode 4, but it's been gone since then. Uh,
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah.
That's kind of funny. He never paid to get him back in.
I mean, he
Also,
got a gun. He did get a new gun, so I don't know. Maybe he did, and then they jettisoned it in 4, and
maybe. I do
yeah,
like when speaking of him being a shitty pilot. Also, best one of the other best characters, Rio, the forearm fucker.
yeah.
God, he's so funny, dude. But he literally Han gets in the fucking machine for like 2 minutes and flies in a straight line over the ship. You're a hell of a pilot. I'm like, what? He hasn't done anything to like delegate that at all. And then I think he crashed that
Delegate?
one too.
Uh, no,
He didn't crash that one.
he may have crashed that
I
one.
think he crashed that one because the next scene you see is him and what's his name walking. Him and Woody Harrelson are walking again after that
Did they?
because they had to go
Yeah,
meet what's his name. They were supposed to go deliver that deal.
yeah.
I'm like, so he crashed that one. He crashed the ship and the little car in
Did
the
he crash
beginning.
it? I don't remember if he
He
did crash it
crashed
or
the
not.
Millennium Falcon when they got to that planet. You can see it just in the dirt, fucked up.
Yeah.
He
Well, it
wasn't
didn't have
driving.
well, he technically landed it. They didn't have the front landing gear.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
I'll give him a little credit, but he could have flattened it out a little bit more, maybe. I don't know.
You
But
can't flatten out if it's not level. There's no front legs.
yeah, but that shit was like a nosedive almost. Like it was ripped apart. But maybe you're right. I'll give you some credit back for that one.
No, he was landing correctly, but then it when the fucking when he lands, the fucking front of the ship has to fall down because there's no legs on the front. There's only legs in the back.
Ah, okay, okay, that's true. I thought all 4 legs were gone. Um,
No, just the 2 legs in the back were left.
got you.
Well, I will say that during that part, I was like, wait a minute. If you fucking do this and you break off the landing gear, you can't land it open because it opens from the bottom. But he just, by luck, still had the back leg, so it could still open.
God, that shit was funny though. I like Han also. I've heard like criticisms about like,
I
oh
think he did. Yeah, they did a good job. I don't think the guy who played Han was bad. I think he was
no, the
fine.
actor was great. I also like the way he was written. A lot of people hate the writing. I thought it was great start to finish. The fucking very beginning, he just pulls out a rock, click. It's a thermal detonator.
He
That's a
said
rock.
click.
He said that's a rock. You made the clicking noise with your mouth. No, I didn't. Stupid
Bruh.
fucker, dude. Oh, that shit was fun. Then they're escaping. She's like, "We're
Yeah.
faster, right?" I hope so. The fucker has no plans. The whole shit. Oh my god! But he's so funny and like confident, but still shitty. That's what makes him so good. Like, oh
It's
man.
hilarious. They didn't have to make him a good guy, but I could see what like
See, I didn't think he was
uh
a good guy. That's what's weird too. I thought he
he
was.
helped those people. I guess whatever.
Well, the thing is,
They
I think he was still
they kind of had
consistent.
him between a rock and a hard place. They're like, hey, uh, but he could have double crossed them. He could have just said, you know what, fuck it. They trusted me enough to bring the real fucking thing to uh,
Dude.
uh yeah, fucking I can't
Oh,
remember
who
the
is
actor's
that
name right now.
actor? He looks familiar as fuck.
Paul Bettany. He plays Vision.
Vision. Yeah, dude. No way.
Yeah,
I was like, I know this
yeah,
fucker's face. I can't see it.
yeah. But he like they trusted him enough for him to bring the real ones to Paul Bettany's, and then double cross Paul Bettany because he overheard that. Oh, I heard you're actually planning to betray me. Like he could have literally just said, "Nope, here's the real thing."
Right. I
I
think
double
though,
crossed them,
but
so
that he didn't have a reason, I guess. Because
he
if
would
you
have got
look,
paid.
huh?
He would have got paid.
Yes, but he still got paid from them. They had an arrangement. I don't know how much that was worth, but he had an arrangement that he would get paid from whatever capsule they gave him. Um, so I don't know if that
Not
was something.
enough.
I don't know, but I also don't think that if we're gonna establish this as like his backstory, his origin, right, and assume that it's canon, he
Yeah,
was never a bad guy,
he wasn't a bad
but he
bad
was
guy, but
pushed
he
into bad
he definitely should
situations.
have gotten the money.
Because if you look
I
at
don't
when he
know.
was growing up, he was a thief because he had to be. But he didn't like being like a shithead. I don't think. You know what I mean? Like he wanted to get the
Yeah,
fuck out of there. He
yeah,
did what
but
he what?
that should have been enough
Oh,
of
we
like,
lost
oh
you.
look, he has some good in him, so he can turn in the next. Yeah, that should have been enough. That hey, he has some good in him. That he doesn't need this later bit where he just ends up helping these guys at the end.
I don't think that mattered though. That's what's weird. Like the whole situation didn't feel forced or out of character for me because he's always done what he needed to, and half the time what he needed to do was be a bad guy. But I don't think he ever had intentions to be a bad guy. If you look at his entire goal in life, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go get a
He's
ship.
selfish. He's supposed to be selfish and only care about his own life. And doing this strat, doing the thing he did was risk his life for other people. That's not Han in episode 4 in the beginning. He always needed some kind of payment or something to do to any kind of like good for other people. I
Right.
would understand if like he what
No, I was right.
yeah. So like I don't think he would have thrown them under the bus. He would have said, "Yeah, fuck that.
It depends at what point
I'm
in
only
his
in it for
life,
me." He
though.
wouldn't risk his life. Like I definitely think that he wouldn't mind helping them, but I don't think he would risk his life for them.
But how many years do you think has passed since then?
Probably a lot, but this is supposed to be his origin story.
But that's what I mean. That's why it's important. That's why I like it. Is
That's
that
why he needs to. That's why he needs to be the character he is in the beginning of episode 4.
well, we do know
Because
they were
we're not
gonna
going to
they
get
were
any
gonna
more
get
in
to that though.
between.
That it
We
got
might.
ca-
We might. I don't know. I don't think they at that point this was the only thing planned
I thought the
for
second
Han.
one got canceled because this one sucked.
No, I thought that, but no, this is. I don't even know if there was going to be a second one.
Because they had the whole ending though. It was like, hey, the girlfriend left and he's gonna go to this thing. They're
He doesn't
setting it
want to
up.
go to Tatooine, and I guess we could set up Tatooine, but I don't
Yeah,
know
because
if
he
like
was like, hey, there's a big job here. We're gonna go to this planet.
we'll see.
And then the girlfriend
Well,
left.
I'll
and
look it
she was
up. But
supposed to be
if that was the case, then all this is moot. But
because that's what it looked like. But I like it because you actually see the transition at the end when he shot dude in the chest. He would have never done that throughout the course of that movie. Like from
yeah.
start to finish, he was not going to shoot that guy in the chest. Then at the very end, he did it, and he didn't even seem happy about it. But he was kind of smug, or like, "Yep, I got you this time, buddy." But then he ran to go help him. So it's
Yeah.
like now he's kind of learning to be a piece of shit. And even the dude says it. He said, "Yep, you did the right one. I was gonna kill you." He was like, "Yeah, I know."
Yep. Yeah.
So then he
I
learned. At that
guess.
point, it's like, "Fuck,
Yeah. I guess
I
it's
have to
fine
kill these
for
people."
so.
And because those weren't like threats, I guess. The
Yeah.
people like the nice guys he saved, they're not really threats. I think that he's learned to like other bounty hunters and shitheads and look out for yourself because they'll fuck you over.
Yeah.
But that was like a little girl and her friends, and they also had a similar story to him. The Empire fucking sucks and kept them in slavery their whole life. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
think he
yeah.
had a little bit of a soft spot. Like, you know what? I didn't like being a slave on that shitty planet. You probably don't want to be stuck what you're doing. So yeah, go help people like the people on my planet. And if it works, it works. And then he left. That's why I don't think that's also why he didn't join them. He was like, well, I don't want to join you. I'm not a good guy. I just want to go fucking find my girlfriend and go be alone and live on a happy island. But then it didn't work out clearly because she's a fucking bad guy, which also I
Yeah.
imagine would have fucked him up bad because he still believed in her and she lied to him at the end. So I think when he finds that out and that kind of heartbreak, I think that's gonna break him and make him a little bit more jaded. At one point when he finds that out, maybe he even has to kill her. We don't fucking know. So I feel like there's so much left open that is gonna send him to be a little bit more darker and a little bit more jaded by the time he gets to 4. And
Yeah.
how long and how many years he has in that lifestyle, I think that matters a lot too. Um, so I give it like a pretty good progression from the start of the film to the end of the film. I think the progression is
There was
fine.
no plans for a sequel, but they weren't opposed to doing one.
Oh, I see. Then that's a weird place. Maybe that's one of those weird writing decisions. We're gonna leave it, but maybe if we wanted to bring it back, we could. So it's a little ambiguous, which sucks.
Yeah,
That leaves the fans suffering, kind of.
yeah,
Because what you're saying is it's true though. Like for a lot of the fans who were like, so he goes from this to 4. That doesn't seem right. And it's like,
exactly.
so then you left it ambiguous. So then it's like, but if you have a second one, it seems good. But you don't get a second one because you don't get the funding because the first one
Like
ended so
if we had
ambiguous.
a trilogy that's entire English. If we had a trilogy that was entirely fuck, I can't remember the type of arc that's called. Not a negative. Is it a negative arc? I don't know what it's called, but it's a corruption arc. There we go. If we
Yeah,
had
so
a
it went
trilogy of
from
a
good to
corruption
bad.
arc, then it would have been really good. Yeah,
Right. That's what I
but
thought was gonna happen. Right. He goes from good
yeah,
to a piece of shit in number 2 and just says fuck everything, and then to like I'm just a dusty old man who doesn't trust anybody, but I'm not. I'm just like left that life behind, kind of like evil parts left
yeah,
behind by 4, and then he goes back
yeah,
to being a good guy at the end, kind of in 4. So yeah,
yeah.
I hope we get a number 2 or like a TV show or something, right?
I mean, you
Because
never know because they scrapped the Obi-Wan movie and then they turned it into an Obi-Wan show. So you
right,
never know if like they might still do something with Maul and they might do
right,
something like uh they might do something with like I don't know Boba and then we'll see him in like a Boba show or something.
right. Because
Uh,
they know the fans want it. I feel like anyway, they know fans like Han, and they know they were upset
Wait, they
with
have a
how the
Boba
movie
show.
ended.
Django, not Django. The hell is his name? The damn
Boba,
Hut.
Jango,
Jabba.
oh Jabba. Yeah,
You
if he
never know.
showed
They
up
might make a Jabba show and then he's gonna be in it.
that'd be cool because I mean, but what time frame is that? Because well, he did go directly to Jabba's after that.
Oh, this is what we assume, right?
Well, he said Tatooine, so I guess we assume that.
Okay.
I like how he got his fucking ship.
Yeah.
Or no,
He
like
went back and
the fact that fucking Lando was betting a ship he didn't own in the beginning. The fucker said I keep it locked up tight for security.
he owned it. It's just it was what's it called? It was impounded.
Yeah, because he couldn't pay for it or for something. I imagine that he
Yeah, but
couldn't.
he owned it.
Did he?
It was his. It had his capes and everything in there.
Yeah, but I mean they took it. Like he didn't own it anymore. It was his. But whoever the fuck impounded it was like, this is ours now.
Well, like
That's
I
the
assume
impression I got.
the authorities impounded it. He couldn't pay to get it back.
Right, and that's the same thing in real life though. If you impound the car for like more than a certain number of days, it's theirs.
Hmm.
My brother almost lost his car like that. So it's like
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I was getting the assumption that he was broke as fuck and he couldn't afford
Yeah.
to get his ship back, so it was eventually not going to be his. I thought that was great that he's pretty much putting bets on his ship. And it's like they had to help him break it out. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
I
could
love
have
that.
just skipped it.
Yeah.
I like the girlfriend a lot though. Actually, her character's kind of subtle and doesn't get much screen time.
Which one?
The girlfriend. I think
Kira?
I called her Leia by accident earlier because I remember just
Mhm.
female
Kira.
protagonist that hangs out with
Yeah,
Han.
she's really good.
In the very beginning, it actually got the first hint, and what do you call it? When like the lady was stopping them, she was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, give me the shit, and then I'll let you through." He was about to do it. Old naive ass was just like, "Oh, okay, here you go." She grabbed his
Yeah.
hand after, while we're walking through, not before, and I was like, "Ooh,
Wait, I think he said that.
she's smart bitch. She's
Did not-
devious." Like,
Didn't he say that?
no, she stopped him and said that because he was about to just go ahead with it.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I was like, yeah, she's fucking smart. You could tell at that moment she's much smarter than him and much more like
Yeah.
cunning.
Mhm.
And I appreciated that because when her character comes back, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You already saw how cunning and fucking dark she could be
Yeah.
in that one line. Versus Han was just this goody two shoes almost, this happy-go-lucky,
Oh
starry-eyed
yeah,
boy.
when she flew away at the end and he realized she wasn't going with them, that he kind of took that pretty well.
I think he still believed it though. I think he was like, yeah, where is she going? Like, I think he truly thought maybe something happened and he still trusted her. Because yeah, he didn't. He was like, oh, cool. I guess I'll see her soon or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It definitely there was some weird shit, and that's why I say there's no way he thought she was like betrayed him or left him on purpose.
Hmm.
So that was definitely like that. Yeah, they needed a number 2. That movie definitely needed number 2 with the way number 1 ended. Also,
Agreed.
Beckett is fucking cool,
Woody Harrelson? Hell yes,
dude.
dude.
When he showed up, oh my god,
Man, I went to go see that movie because of him.
I was like, dude. He's like blasting, spin the guns, blast. I was like, holy shit.
Have you seen Venom 2?
Nope.
He plays Carnage.
Yes, I do remember seeing him. I knew that from the ending
He looked
cutscene.
really shitty. That wig was really bad, but they do a better. Make his hair look a lot better in the actual movie
Got
than
you.
they did
Yeah.
in the after credit scene. 'Cause that shit looked terrible. Um,
Oh, another thing to make me think Han's always pretty much started as a good guy is when he's with the rebellion or when he's with the Empire. They're like, we need to clear this and stop the hostiles. He looks. This is their planet. Pretty sure we're the hostiles.
yeah, but I saw that more as like, oh yeah, smart ass kind of thing. Like when I,
Well, that's what
um,
I mean. He's willing to do it to get ahead, but he's
yeah,
not. He knows it's wrong, and it's not necessarily
yeah,
about that. But he's
yeah,
gonna do it to get ahead,
yeah.
and that's why I liked it. That's kind of like why I
I
say
don't find
his.
that as good. Because that's complicit. You know, like that's even worse than being completely brainwashed. But like you know this is bad, but you're still doing it. That's worse than not even knowing that you're doing bad.
I think it makes sense though.
If you're ignorant, then it's no. You're saying that like there's still more, more of him being good, and it's not.
It gives him a
Uh,
way out. Is what I'm talking about.
uh.
If he didn't give a fuck, he's a bad guy. If he's just
No,
like, yeah,
if he
fuck it, I'll
doesn't
kill
know
these
better,
people.
then he's not. Then if he's like one of the other soldiers who's just ignorant, doesn't know that they're not.
Yeah, but they're not gonna stop doing what they're doing because they don't know it's wrong.
Yeah, but he knows it's wrong, and he still does it anyways.
But for now, to get out of a situation he's stuck in, yes, he understands there's no other way out but to do this to
Yeah, but
continue to get ahead.
yeah, but there's no way out. But yeah, he
So
finally he finally gets a way out, and he does it. Yeah,
he's trying to get his
I got
way.
you.
You know, it's just like I think that's what makes him, in a sense, redeemable.
Yeah,
Anyone who's brain dead or doesn't know any better is going to continue doing that action because they know it's who cares. They don't know it's bad, so they're going to continue to do it. Anyone who's evil as fuck is like, yeah, fuck it, kill him because I'm bad. And then anyone who wants to be better is either going to not do it and die, but he's not that stupid. He's not going to let them kill him because I'm a good guy now. But then I think at one point he's finished, he's going to quit. Once he
Oh,
gets
I
a
remember
ship.
a complaint I had with this movie.
Oh,
It was around this time whenever he was like telling, "Oh, you continue going. I'll go back to it."
oh. Well, that was just the last part. Was that I think at the
Uh,
moment he gets the ship and gets the girlfriend, he's done. I
yeah.
don't think he does anything bad for the rest of his life as long as he gets the girlfriend and
Oh
they get
no,
a
no,
nice
no,
little place.
definitely not. Oh,
So that's why I
fine.
think it's
Cool.
so weird that everyone critiques this movie with the sense that he's not an evil piece of shit. And it was like, Jesus, he's
Well, I don't think
always
anybody
been
wanted
kind
him
of
to
a
be an
good
evil
guy.
piece of shit. They just want him to be selfish, which is what he is in episode 4. That's what they
He
want.
was
They want.
selfish the whole movie, though. Kind of what I'm talking about. He just wants to take care of himself, and eventually, by the end, Chewie, he just
He
wants to take
helped.
care of.
He helped again. He helped the rebellion. He helped those guys. Well, he risked his own life for them. That's not selfish.
Well, it was the girlfriend, really. It wasn't necessarily for them. I don't think he cared about them. That's why he didn't even associate with them after he got his money. It was the girlfriend
No,
and Chewie.
no, he could have. He could have done that and screwed over the rebellion guys.
But he knew the fucker was going to kill him, though.
He wasn't. They weren't going to kill him.
The bad guys were
If he-
definitely going to kill him.
Not Bennett. I mean, not Bennett, but the other guy. Okay, so what I'm saying is, the plan was, hey, let's take this. What were they? What I don't remember. The batteries. I'm gonna call them fucking batteries.
Yeah.
But take the batteries to the Paul Bettany motherfucker and be like, or like, oh, what's the name? The rebellion said we're gonna kill you, and they said, how about we do this instead? We trick Paul Bettany into thinking I sell him the batteries, and then we get away scot, and then I bring you guys the real batteries, and then Woody Harrelson says I'm not gonna go with this. I'm just gonna haul ass. He said okay, but he realizes Woody Harrelson is going to betray me. He's gonna fucking he's gonna rat me out to what's his face. So I'm actually gonna bring the real batteries, and then I'm gonna bring the battery after after the shootout. We're gonna bring the batteries back to the rebellion. So in this situation, he brings the real batteries to Paul Bettany, and then Paul Bettany goes, I know you were gonna betray me. These are fake. I don't know how you made them look like the real thing, but these are fake. Actually, I knew he would rat me out, and these are the real ones, and I'm here to sell them to you. And this is the only way I could get out of getting killed by the rebellion. And then could have sold them to him, and then they could have killed all the rebellion guys. But the fact that he planned out a second stage of, hey, I need to save the rebellion guys.
I mean, I think that's the best way forward for him.
No, because he would have like he was already safe with Paul Bettany. He could have just sold him the things and got away with his life.
Nah, because literally the whole half the movie has been literally Woody Harrelson telling him, "Don't trust this fucker. don't be around him. He will betray you, and they
He
even
will
showed him.
leave. He would after he gets paid, he can leave.
The first thing he saw against that dude was he walks into a room and he pulls out the knife and is like, "Why shouldn't I kill you right here, right now?" That fucker's not trustworthy. Anything you do,
All you have to do is pay him, and you're good. That's literally what Woody Harrelson told them as well. Was like, hey, we just need to pay him, and we're good. Or not pay him, but bring these batteries, and you just make it right, make it square. That's all he had to do.
I don't trust that fucker. No, there's no way.
That's all they had to do. No,
You
that's
say that like
literally
it's
it.
easy. This fucker killed so many people. He's
And
a
you
dangerous
can get away-
man.
Yeah, but that's like all because they fucking owe him money.
But they didn't owe him anything.
They
Hey,
did.
Can you steal this from me? Yeah, I'll try and steal it for you. Oh,
They
this other guy
they were
stole it.
hired for that job. They were hired for that job, and then they fucking failed him and didn't get it. So that's motherfucker was like, you owe me this because you promised me this. And then so they did.
But they don't get paid until
that's
the
all they had
job's
to do.
done. He didn't owe them anything. They were like, we need to do the job to get paid.
In the jackass's mind, in Paul Bettany's mind, you owe me this because you were supposed to bring me these things.
That's
you
what
were
I told
hired
you.
to
He's
do
a
this.
fucking jackass. He's crazy, psycho. He could have killed you for less than that.
Oh,
Why would you take that crazy guy over a
You
bunch
leave.
of goody
You're
two-shoes?
good. After that, you leave. You're good. Because remember, that's what he told fucking Emilia Clarke's character. He said, "Hey, if your friend doesn't fucking do the job right, you're dead."
Yes.
They could have literally just walked away. Because you're not gonna do business with anybody just killing everyone outright. He gave people a chance. If he wanted to, he could have killed them before this whole job. Because they failed the first job. With your logic, he should have done it.
He was
But
going
no,
to. That's the thing.
But he didn't
He had
because he
every
could get his
intention to
batteries.
do that, and Han had to barely
Oh
talk him
my
down with
God.
the girlfriend. Also,
Nah.
if he follows through your plan, he does lose the girlfriend. She made that clear that
Yeah.
that's
That is
not what
true.
he wants to do. He wants to kill that guy, take his girlfriend right off into the sunset.
That
That was
is
his
true.
whole plan from the beginning.
Yeah, I can see that. But
I just don't think it's
that
smart
wasn't
to
his
work with
plan
that guy.
from the beginning. But that was I would say definitely her makes because he does love her and it's his
That's
whole
been his
fucking-
whole goal, the whole movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way that works out for him.
Yeah.
Cut her ties with that guy, get him off the table. He's crazy
Yeah, and then she
anyway,
didn't do that. So
which fucking sucks for him. That's why I feel like it hurts pretty bad by the end. But
yeah, but he doesn't show it.
but
That's the
we'll
whole
need
thing,
more
isn't
though,
it?
because I don't think he truly
He's more.
believes that she
He's
betrayed
very
him.
like Marvel superhero action hero, like not an action hero, but like Marvel jokey, quippy, whatever. It's all good, and he proceeds to making jokes and shit. And I'm just like, all right, well, that sucks.
Yeah, I don't think he believes that she's gone. Right. That's why I think that because there's no way or maybe he's like delusional.
Everyone on that ship was dead. She could have easily just walked off that ship and
Right,
and
but
left.
he's in denial. Think about if you accept that. Everything you've done for the past like 10 years or however long, I don't know, it's not been that long.
Yeah.
It's just been
I'm
to go
I'm
get
saying he
her.
should've- It makes perfect. If this is like at the end, this makes perfect. Her leaving makes perfect sense as to why he actually internalizes. Hey, I can only trust myself. But he
Right.
does it. He just gets all goofy and says, "Whatever. Hey, Chewie, let's go get that ship that I liked." I will say that added thing about his dad working on those ships.
That was cool.
That was cool.
That was really cool. And like that's why he knew and like he's so familiar with it.
Yeah. But you know, he's definitely not that character at the beginning of 4 yet. That's the only thing is, it sucks, but you can see it. We'll get there, especially if like there's more people fuck him over.
Right,
shit.
right. And that's what I imagine would hopefully happen.
But
If it
that's what
doesn't
I'm saying.
happen-
You were saying earlier that he is that guy. I'm like, no, he's not that guy yet.
I guess yeah. If the exact thing, I guess you could read into it, and that's what I'm kind of doing is reading into like his mental state and what could have happened between those movies.
Yeah,
But as
you
far
were
as
saying
on
that at the
screen-
end of this movie, he is that guy. And earlier, I was like, no, and then I tried to explain.
I think he's pretty close though. I'd still stand by that. Actually, I'm not going to totally
Yeah.
run that back.
But that's
because-
but like what earlier what I was saying is like him being so like that Han from episode 4 would have done that, but the Han in this movie because he has Kira and he wants Kira, that's what leads to the decision of doing that.
Yes, I can agree with that.
But Han in
Definitely the
episode
Han.
4 would have just fucking sold him the things and tried and got out.
Yes, definitely the Han in 4 would have done that.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have had any other ulterior shit going on. Just him and Chewie getting
Exactly.
paid. Because him and Chewie are the only family he has, is what it looks like.
Exactly. That's all I was saying earlier.
Yeah, I
But
can
then
agree
it
with
got- somehow us talking about it got warped into like it being a bad plot point in the movie when that's not what I was intending with that.
Right. Well, that's kind of. I guess it's because all the criticism for that movie is because of that, right? There's people
Yeah.
who talk like,
He's
no,
not.
there
Yeah,
was a
he's not.
zero.
Also, he's not a complete piece of shit in four. He's
No,
selfish dickhead, but he's not a complete piece of shit. No.
no, and even if you
Uh,
look at the way he talks to like Luke and Leia and all them, he's not like condescending. He's not rude. He's kind of jokey. Like he's
yeah.
a little sarcastic, but he's not even really a bad guy. Like even in four. So
No, he's just selfish.
it
That's
was
it.
just hard for me to see this weird thing. All these
He
critiques
goes
I
from a
hear.
selfish guy who just wants to get paid to
Right,
a guy who's willing to risk his life for his friends.
right,
That's his arc in four. Um,
right. And for me, it's like, well, I don't know. I even still think he's selfish by the end of four. Because
Somewhat, but
to
I
be
wouldn't
fair,
say.
I think the only reason he turned around is because he knew the Empire would win.
I don't think
Because
that
this is the
matters.
last.
If he's selfish, it doesn't matter to him, right?
Well, sure it does. Because the Empire, he's a wanted man. So
Not
if
by the
you're,
Empire.
if you're, yeah, but they
He's
knew
not
his.
wanted by the Empire. He's wanted by Jabba.
No, he's by the end. Literally, stormtroopers are running and shooting at his ship. Is when they leave Tatooine. They said that's the ship.
Yeah, but they don't know like the actual ship's like tag.
They had
and
it
stuff
in
like
the Death Star. I imagine they scanned it, tagged it. They put a tracker on it. They knew everything about that ship.
that. Yeah, but he can still get away.
But that's the thing. He's going to live on the run for the
can,
rest of his life, and
he
he
can take the
knows that if,
tracker off. He can get a new ship. Like if he was still a selfish dickhead, he could have done all these other things. But no, he came back to save his friend.
I guess I don't think they were that close.
They got close enough. It's movie logic. People don't
Right.
fall in love as fast as they do in the movies. People don't become friends as fast as they do in the movie. It's a what 2 hour movie. So
Right.
like yeah, they you know
I
you
guess,
gotta give
yeah,
them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah,
You're
with
right.
movies.
I just always thought for me it was like it makes sense for him to do that because he left clearly, and I think as he was leaving, he's probably talking. Well, Chewie's more softy. I think Chewie's probably the one who convinced him to go back.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Um,
Yeah, Chewie's more of a softie.
So I think Chewie probably had a lot to do with it in convincing him to go back. But I also think if you talk to him, think about it logically, it's like, dog, they have your face, they know your name, you're on the run. You're not going to be able to do anything in Empire space ever again, like freely. So you might as well try and stop
Might as
him.
well fight the rebellion.
Yeah, because he's going down anyway.
I think
You know
he'd
what I mean?
rather go on the run, but that's somewhere we're probably not gonna.
Right. That's just it. That's we don't know what his true internal thought process was.
Yeah,
But I
it's
think
like,
that makes sense to me as an option. I'm not going to say it's the only option.
I
but
feel like a
definitely.
selfish person would just say, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna be on the run forever," because there's no way to be, especially because he was cynical in four. Like that's the Empire, right?
Right. That's true.
So I think he would just be one of those guys who's just like on the run all the while. Like fuck that, not fighting the rebellion.
Maybe he
and shit.
believed in him. They did have this big military fleet and the whole base.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean, that's still logical if he believed they could win, kind of thing, you know.
I
At that
don't know.
point,
They
he
seem
kind
kind of
had to pick a
small
side.
compared to the Empire. What the Empire is, it's still relatively small.
I guess the Starfleet they were fighting, right, is the
Yeah.
comparison, not the entire Empire, whole thing, but just the fleet versus their fleet. It seemed, I guess, comparable, and at that point, I guess he picked a side because he hadn't. I don't think he had a side before that.
No, he was a selfish guy. He was just
Right.
in it for himself. He was a simple, as Django said it. He's a simple man making his way across the universe.
Right. But anyway, so yeah, I think we're back to the shit. I think that criticism, like a lot of people bitch, like that's not hot.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
hot. He's a good guy. He's a super selfless, white, holy man who did all these good things in that movie, and that's not my Han. I'm like, gee, what the fuck are you talking about? He's pretty consistent. Like it just always confused me how this crazy amount of hate for that movie, and I'm like, dog, from the very beginning, he was never
those
even
are always
back.
the loudest. Those are always the loudest voices. The ones who are the most extreme, right?
Right, and it
It's
just
not-
kills
yeah.
me. Like,
Outside, I've never seen those people in real life. I only see that on the internet.
oh, I see him in real life all the time. They're in D&D groups.
Oh wow, but yeah, those guys are
Go to
extreme.
comic shops and D&D groups and just sit and listen to like certain people talk. Oh, you'll
A
find
lot
it
of people
quick.
A lot of people are just people who like watch YouTube videos and just like regurgitate what they hear.
Yes. There is a
So,
lot of YouTube warriors out there,
Uh,
which is pretty sad. But
yeah,
it's okay. Eventually, people will grow. They'll listen to our podcast, and then they'll start to think for
they'll
themselves.
regurgitate what we say.
No, you think for yourself, you stupid shit. If you listen to our podcast, go watch the movie and think for yourself. We also don't give very many.
And just know
pointed,
Trey's always right.
well, we don't give very many. I'm not right, but I usually
Just
try and give
playing.
things in like a lens that like you can
Yeah.
interpret whatever you want. That's kind of the goal, right? Is let's discuss things sort of objectively if we can, and just try and talk about what happened and maybe what the characters might be thinking or whatever. And then you make choices and thoughts based on that. You know, it's never this happened or this was this
What
way.
do you think of? I forgot her name, but Wait, did we? No, no, we didn't talk about. Damn it, Woody Harrelson's girlfriend in the movie.
She was kind of annoying, but she was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because she was kind of annoying because she was again like just super stereotype SJW lady, but I really liked her at the campfire because she was cool and like throughout she was like, oh god, get this fucking kid out of here. I thought it was great. Like I liked her up until like before the campfire and then up to it. I thought she was pretty good. Because she's like even making little jokes. She's like, yeah, and some people or something something and makes a joke
Yeah.
about Woody Harrelson and like kind of gives him a hug. I was like, no way, they're together. That's adorable. Um, so I thought that was cool. But then I think at some point after that, she just became action hero strong lady.
Who had to kill herself?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was still cool, but yeah, there was no weight to that scene. I don't know, it just didn't feel right. I maybe it was unceremonious because she wasn't near the group at all, so she just kind of blew
Yeah.
up off screen. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know why,
There,
but it just felt weird.
she never got off the thing, so they could blow it up. So she had to blow it up with her on it. Yeah.
Right, which was I was cool with that part, I guess, but it just didn't feel right. I guess the entire her character arc didn't feel right. It felt like it was introduced well, and then
I
just
don't think she had
disappeared.
a character arc.
I thought she was supposed to, like, kind of like, not a character arc, but like a character unveiling. She's a tough, angry lady who's just in this bandit group, and then you find out she's with him, and they want to go find her, like, live on a planet together and leave all this life
Yeah.
behind. And
Yeah.
she's a little bit softer than she let on.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that little bit, so I thought she was good, but then it just kind of ended. She was just gone. Um, Same thing for Rio, but I think he got enough. He was fine. I fucking love that character.
He was comedic relief. So
Right,
whatever.
Rio was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Um, Also Chewie. They did confirm they enslaved all the Wookiees.
Yeah.
They confirmed that in this movie, so I wrote that down because we were asking about that.
Yeah.
After Kashyyyk in number 3.
Yeah. They got
So
enslaved because they strong as fuck.
it's true. And then that's cool. In the very end, you actually see them in the mines. I was like, oh
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm pretty sure that was supposed to lead up to something. And like either if we have a sequel or just one of the later movies that they had planned.
right.
That was going to be a thing. Like a group of Kashyyyks going around. Kashyyyks? That's their planet. A group of Wookiees going around saving enslaved people groups.
Right. Dude, I love fucking when he's trying to get on their ship. Hey, that's a Wookiee. They're pretty strong. He could be useful. All right, pick him up. And they go get. You're only here because of me. Remember that. Fucking Han, dude. I love him and Chewie's relationship, dude.
I forgot he knew how to speak Wookiee.
Right?
Yeah.
He stopped. Okay, a little bit. Okay.
Also, it was weird. Like he said his name and he said Chewbacca. I'm like, where'd you get Chewbacca from that? You don't
Right.
translate a name.
That shit was funny.
Oh my god. Between English and Spanish, yeah, Jorge and George is a translation, but that's just because of the whenever the languages diverged, that name became that other thing. It's not like it was like names don't have translations.
Right.
Uh,
Maybe there is
uh,
some kind of thing they tried to do, like linguistically, about
yeah,
which gurgle means which letter, kind of thing.
yeah, but that'd be I would imagine that Wookiee didn't diverge from English or English from Wookiee, so there was no point where there was a name that was like in one language and then turned into a different name
Right.
whenever that language became what it is
No, what I mean
currently.
is that like they probably gave them syllables that were just convenient for them.
Huh.
Like if is like an
Imagine
actual
he
word.
would say it in Wookiee, or he would say it the way that Chewbacca said it. So he went,
Oh,
and then he was like Chewbacca. I was like,
right. See, I
but
imagine
it's
that's
just a
just him.
nitpick. I mean, there's no way to make Chewbacca from the way that Wookiees sound. So, um,
That's why I imagine they have to have some sort of like rough translation.
I would rather they just didn't and just made it where like Han gave him the name or something, but or like someone else gave him the name, or
Well,
maybe he said it.
He had that
Maybe he
name a
said
long
it.
time ago.
Yeah, he had it in episode 3, but I would say or like say that like fucking Yoda gave him that name or something. Like my friend Yoda gave me this name. I don't know how to I can't pronounce it because I don't speak who like phonetically. But here you go.
But that's why if we dissect that language, I imagine there are syllables and there are individual letters. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, but
So if there are
those syllables
letters,
and
you can
those syllables
rudimentarily.
and those letters are the gurgles.
Yes, but you can translate those into your own shit. It's gonna be fake. It's a
I'm,
completely made up language, but you can
that's
do
what,
that.
that's what I'm saying. Like it looked like they were trying to do that, and I was like, that's not how that works. But it's fine. I would rather them just not try to address that. But uh
Interesting. I guess it didn't bother me.
I mean, it didn't bother me. That's why I say that I can forgive it because there's no way to make that noise in fucking Wookiee. So like, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But it's just funny to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. That's way too fucking deep for me. I don't know. I don't think that much about that shit. That was way too.
I was saying
They
it
lost me.
doesn't actually matter. It's not important.
Uh, could
And
be.
in a fantasy world, sure. But also like the fact that Chewbacca just kind of went, yeah, that's what my name is. When that's
He
not
probably
like
did-
if
I
someone
imagine-
said, "Oh, my name is Jose," he goes, "Oh, so you're Joe." No,
Right.
that's not how that works.
I imagine that he just was like,
That's
I'm
literally what he
stupid.
did. Was just like, "My name is Jose." Oh, sup, Joe? It's not Joe. It's Jose. Okay, Joe. Like it's just
That's funny.
and Chewbacca just accepted it. So I'm just like, okay, well, like
Which is
clearly.
hilarious. It's like for his
It's just-
character. That
That's,
makes it even
that's all
better.
I'm saying. Is that it's all it was. It's like it was just something I found funny.
I'll tell you what I found funny is when he says, "Go get a couple drinks or something." For both of them.
Yeah, when he told me the two drinks that he fucking
Chewie had 2 drinks in each hand and drank them both.
yeah, because he already got one. So okay, and he like shook his head. And was
Right.
like,
Well, hey, guess they're both mine then.
yeah.
God, that fucker's funny. Never too many capes, by the way. She's like, too many capes? No. More
No, my
capes.
favorite part was when the fucking when there was the fire inside the ship, and he was like, "No, that's not the cave." That shit was funny.
Oh, man. Bro, the little robot that was walking on the desk and the fucking rebellion, that shit was so funny.
I'm trying
I
to
don't know why that was so funny. It was a random ass scene, but it was like a little robot like, yeah, just stomping on the fucking desk.
Yeah, during the rebellion,
Oh my god.
the robot rebellion.
Yeah.
They didn't have to explain the parsec thing. I feel like that was kind of like, I don't know. It seemed fine, but
I think it's still funny.
yeah,
It gave context to it.
yeah.
He's like, I did this. It's like, yeah, I ran the 5K in less than a mile. Really?
Yeah.
Tell me how that works.
Yeah. I did took a shortcut.
Right? Because for
Okay.
anybody in the universe, they know that you can't do that, right? Like, as far as they're concerned, there's only one way through.
Yeah.
So that shit was kind of funny.
So yeah, whenever he says that shit to somebody, oh yeah, just Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You even know what the hell you're talking about?
Right. Oh my god, I love it.
He did do it.
I swear. I like when the Wookiee pets Han's head when they first meet.
Oh,
the
yeah,
little
'cause-
baby.
That was funny.
Like he's a little dog. Like, hey, buddy, is this your new pet, Chewie?
Yeah.
Oh my god, too good. Also, dude,
Oh.
when L3, oh my god, when L3 died, I couldn't take it. It was so heart wrenching.
Okay.
It was, dude. That shit got me. He's like, L3. He's like running through like the fire and the blasters are going. He's like dodging bullets and slides in. Oh,
It was well shot.
this shit was awesome, dude. I was like, oh my god.
Very cinematic. Also, why did they just ditch his ass there?
Because they're good people. Han's a good guy.
Nah. I'm talking about fucking what's his? What no? Woody Harrelson. Why didn't he just ditch him there?
That's true. He had all the good shit, didn't he?
He had everything already on board.
But I think he kind of liked Han, though.
He did like Han. I was gonna say he didn't. I think he was ready to leave until Han ran out to help.
Right.
That's what I call him, Childish Gambino. That is him.
Right.
Fuck.
Speaking of, man, when he was introduced in the beginning, holy handsome.
yeah.
That fucker was so handsome. I was like, man, who is this guy? And they're hyping him up too. He's an interstellar traveler. He's this. He's that. I was like, oh baby.
Do you not know it's gonna be him?
No.
Oh.
That
Okay.
shit was cool.
Yeah.
Fuck. What else, dude? In the very end, when he's doing the little quips, the George W. Well, the fish don't fry in the kitchen. Am I right, brother?
Yeah. Like,
was
I don't
saying
know what those mean.
Right. I don't know what that means. Are they or aren't they? Oh my god, that shit was so funny. Also, fucking almost 200 years
Also,
old.
did she give him his dice? Uh,
Yeah, at the very end.
okay, yeah. You know those are the dice that he has in the on the Millennium Falcon in all the old movies.
What?
Yeah, he has those hanging up in the Millennium Falcon.
So he still thinks she's coming back.
Yeah, even after he got married to Leia.
We don't talk about that.
Actually, I don't know if they're married, but do
Close enough.
they have? Well, yeah, they do have marriage. Anakin and Padme got married.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Dude, when they're going into
But
the
also,
mall. This
at
is the
the end
mall?
of fuck, what's the name of that movie? Episode 5, not 5. Shit. 8. Yeah, Last
8.
Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Yeah. Leia? No, Luke gives those dice to Leia. They're Han's dice that his ex-girlfriend gave him.
That's funny. I didn't think about that one.
I was say like you had to watch Solo to even realize those were important.
But you guys, you don't know that the girlfriend's dice. They didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's a secret only he knows, really.
yeah. But you still, what I'm saying is you had to watch Han like Solo at all to even realize those were important.
Oh yeah, because they weren't in the original trilogy.
Yeah, they're in the original. They're
Oh,
just
are they?
not.
I guess I'm
Yeah,
gonna say in it, like they weren't.
they're not. Yeah, they're not given any kind of
Right. They're just a prop.
value or weight or shit. They're just a prop in the background. It's like it looks really weird on Last Jedi that he's like, these were Han's. Thank you. I'll cherish them forever.
Right. Speaking of, back to him being a good or bad guy, I really like
Uh,
that scene when she's talking to him and the girlfriend's talking to him in the fucking tent, and she was like, "Look,
uh,
you're not the bad guy." No, I'm the bad. I'm totally a bad guy. Look at me.
oh yeah, that was
I just
stupid.
breathe bad. Like that's not what he said, but that shit was fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, something like yeah. He gave off that kind of energy, like, oh yeah, I just breathe bad.
I'm totally bad. Look at me. I'm like
Yeah,
that shit was so good, dude. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
again why I always liked this movie, and I liked his character throughout the
I
movie
like
too,
the movie. Yeah,
because
it's
like
fine.
that shit was awesome. I was like, yeah, look, he's not the bad guy, but then that's like he's trying to be a bad guy, and I was like, that little ambiguity was always so cool. Um, but also I like when fucking what's his name dipped. Oh my god, that shit was funny. I got
Oh,
150
he's like,
hired
I
guns
have
on this,
30 men out there.
and that fucker just zip and dipped.
Fucker said, "Where's my money?"
Yeah, because at first I was like, what the fuck? Why did he just leave? I was like, was that for comedic effect? That wasn't funny. He was waiting on his money. And then I
I
thought
think he
about
was
it.
mad,
He watched them get captured. They're gonna come get him next. Fuck that. Get out of there.
right? Yeah, he probably saw from the cockpit. Oh shit, they had him at gunpoint. Fuck this,
Right,
I'm
I'm
out.
out. That made more sense to me, but definitely my first impression was like, I get it how funny that was, but that was poorly written if it's just for the joke. And then I was like, oh,
There was a line in the movie, I think, that I was like, oh, why'd you put that joke there? But I can't remember what it was. I just remember thinking that thought at some point in the movie. It's not important. Doesn't really matter.
right,
But yeah, stuff like that always. There was stuff like that in Ant-Man. I watched Ant-Man recently,
got you.
or this morning. That was like a part there that did that, and I was like, why?
Right. A lot of that movie
Uh,
was the good stuff, though. The jokes, the characters, the interactions. I think
yeah, there
that's
was
what.
like there wasn't anything bad,
Right,
terrible. Um, but the overall it was just like there's some underwhelming bits. And
right.
definitely the first act is I don't know how to say. I like the first part when he's at the
On the planet.
Corellia, I think it is. Yeah, when he's on Corellia. I
Yeah,
like
that shit was
Corellia.
cool.
Uh yeah, no, I won't say bad. I don't know. I don't know where to place this one.
Me neither,
Uh
because like when I think about it, like what would you give it? My first gut was like a
I wasn't
5.
excited to rewatch it. So there's definitely something about it that's not like, yeah, I'm excited to rewatch this movie.
Right. I liked it, but the thing is, I don't know. It's like my gut said give it a 5, and I was like, that's not fair. I liked it. There's nothing bad about it at all. At least deserves a 7. And then I was like, but didn't you give episode 2 or 3 7s and 8s? And I was like, shit.
I'm gonna give it a 5.5
I
or
can agree with
6.
that. But that's weird because that's why number scales are weird. I don't
I
think that.
understand it from my scale, but for your scale, I feel like you would give it like a 8
Right. I want to give it like
or
a
a
7.
7.
I think my
Yeah,
scale seems like it should be a 7, but my gut
yeah,
says it doesn't get a 7. But that's only because
yeah,
I compare it to the other things I've given 7s, which makes it weird. Because the thing this movie suffers from, I think, is that it's not impactful. Um,
yeah.
It's really good. All the bits are good. All the characters, especially.
Ooh, Darth Maul. There, we got to see his whole ass face. I
I
thought it
didn't
was
like
just
it.
his legs. Oh,
No,
okay.
I thought he was weird, which is weird. I was like, I don't know. He looks wrong. He looks a little off.
Yeah.
I don't know what was wrong with him. He
He
didn't
had
look
the robot
bad.
legs. He had the skull. He had the pointy bits. Did he have his makeup? Gillis said something about it looked like it. The black part of his makeup wasn't there.
I don't know. But I do know he looked a little off to me. But I did notice it's also more modern effects. He looked more real than he did in number one. But maybe
Yeah.
that's why I didn't like it, because the ambiguity of him with like the less good details, I filled in the gaps myself. But watching him in highlight detail kind of maybe ruined my immersion of what
Hmm.
I thought he looked like. But I don't know, because his points weren't that pointy before, were they?
It's the same actor too.
Because they used to be like mini horns. That was like little pointy spikes.
That's weird. They got. I guess he never did talk in the first movie, did he?
No.
Uh. So yeah, the actor who played him in Phantom Menace redid the thing, but he was voiced by Sam Witwer, who did his voice in the Clone Wars.
That's funny. That makes sense.
That's actually funny. That's just seems like way more work than you need to put in there.
Right.
Uh, gotta hire two actors for one character. I
Right.
mean, I guess they did that with Darth Vader too.
That's true.
He was like there was a guy who walked and did everything as him, and then there was James Earl Jones voiced him.
Oh yeah. Whew, the voice of an angel. But yeah, this movie, I think overall, I really enjoy it. I enjoy all the characters. I enjoy all the bits, all the humor, all of it, man. Especially the scene in like the slave planet. Oh my god, that shit was awesome. The whole breakout,
Who was
everything.
Rio? Was that the monkey?
Rio the monkey, yeah, he was cool.
That was John Favreau.
Who's that?
Happy from um Iron Man. Happy Hogan.
What? Happy Hogan?
Yeah, yeah.
No way, dude. He's one of my favorite characters from Iron Man. He's one of my favorite characters from MCU. He's underrated, but he actually got a shit ton more screen time going into like the later
He's
ones.
also the director for uh um
Spider Man's.
uh the Iron Man movies or the first two Iron Man movies.
Because yeah, he started getting a lot more screen time at the end of the Iron Man's into Spider Man's, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Fuck yeah, dude, more happy." But then I don't know, it kind of ruined his mystique.
He's
Um,
also the showrunner for Mandalorian. So
got you. Well, it seems like he's a good guy to have around. He's done pretty good
he's
so
king of
far.
the he's been dubbed king of the nerds recently.
Hell yeah,
I
he is
think
pretty
it was
good.
like I think a year or two ago I saw that meme going around, and it was like John Favreau, and it was like all his writing credits and film roles, and it was like king of the nerd. We have officially dubbed you king of the nerds.
Shit, what's his name's coming for that title? Sexy boy from The Witcher.
Yeah, he is also he is definitely coming for that.
He said, I'm gonna be the king of the nerds soon. Wait. But yeah, no, I don't know. This movie suffers from not being like impactful in a sense that I wasn't left with a cool world. I
Yeah.
wasn't left with an impactful like thing to look forward to. Right.
Hmm.
All they said was, hey, we're going to Tatooine, and then the girlfriend left. I mean, there was Darth
Yeah.
Maul implications, but I really wasn't left too much. And we
I
talked
think
about
Darth Maul was not supposed to continue in Han's story. I think Darth Maul was just there to be like, hey, he's alive. We're gonna use him in another project.
Oh, okay, maybe that's it.
I think he's supposed to just tease I think he was supposed to tease the Obi-Wan movie because we're at the time. I think we only knew about the Obi-Wan movie coming out after this
Right.
because at the time we just had fuck. What was that one?
Wasn't that when the animated Clone Wars thing special for Obi-Wan came out with him in it?
No idea.
Because they had their whole thing, I think, in it was like a Clone Wars special,
Well,
or
the
maybe it
Clone
was.
Wars, all that stuff came out like a long time ago. That
Well, this was
wasn't
newer.
around
It
the
was
same.
like Bad Batch and shit like that.
Oh, that came out after this.
Well, then it wasn't Bad Batch exactly. Then it was something in between Clone Wars and Bad Batch. They had a whole special where they went into Darth
Rebels.
Maul and his brother and Obi-Wan.
I didn't watch that.
But I think maybe that's what they were hinting to.
Maybe.
Possible, because they got the same voice
Maybe.
actor, so it makes more sense in line. If you saw that, you'd want to go and you saw that. Oh, that's the guy from the movie.
Maybe.
I wish I knew what it was called, but I can't remember what it's called. I never actually watched the thing. I just saw pieces of it. I don't know. But as far as this movie goes, to wrap this up, the movie's awesome. I think I would give it, on my first pass through, a solid 8. The movie's fucking solid, dude. Standalone actually. Uh, no, that's a lie. Not standalone. I think a lot of the awesomeness comes from knowing other Star Wars stuff.
Mm,
But I think if you watched it without any Star Wars knowledge, you'd still get a solid seven.
yeah, I don't think you would be lost. I
No,
think it'd be fine.
yeah, I'd call it a seven, maybe 6.57 if you had no Star Wars knowledge. A solid
Yeah,
8 with Star Wars knowledge. But then on
yeah,
rewatch, or
yeah.
like,
I would say definitely it's enhanced by having previous knowledge, but I'd say you could watch it without having any knowledge of Star Wars.
right,
Um, because like Maul showing up wouldn't be as epic to you, but it would be like,
right,
"Ooh, who's this guy? Is he get the big bad for the next in the next movie?" But
right,
um, uh, and then being poorly, like just no.
right.
And
See, and
yeah,
that's
whenever Chewie shows up, you're like, "Oh, these guys are friends." There's no tension there for you if you've seen it, but if you've never seen it, you're like, "Oh my God, he's gonna get fucking eaten by this goddamn
that's true. Might
monster."
even be better that way, right?
Yeah, because like there's a lot of stuff in the prequels that if you already have prior knowledge, isn't a lot of the tension is gone, or not tension, but
Right.
the
Ambiguity
but
of the
you,
result, like,
yeah, you already know what's about to what's gonna happen. So like you know Anakin's gonna go bad in episode 3.
right. That's
So
true. I never thought of it
uh,
that way. So maybe the best way to watch the films is actually one through chronological.
that's what George Lucas said. So
That makes sense. I actually kind of agree. I think I
but,
would probably do it,
but then if you watch them in chronological order, the impact of Darth Vader going, "No, Luke, I am your father," is reduced or is
I'll
diminished.
sacrifice that
So
scene for all of the other ones that we get.
yeah, that makes sense.
You
Um,
know, but and that's also funny. We're doing them chronological and review, so I think that's also kind of we maybe subconsciously thought that was the best way to do it too.
well, I stand by that.
Right.
I like the jigsaw way. I don't remember the actual like term for it, but there was like going around on Reddit before episode 7 came out, and it was like uh the proper way to watch Star Wars is episode 4, 5, 1 no, 4, 5, uh 2 and 3, and then 6. And the
Bro.
comments were like, "What about 1? Fuck that movie."
Bro.
I like 1.
Yeah, one was good. It's underrated. If you guys haven't heard what we felt about it, go watch the video because number one is really underrated and has a
So
lot
in
of
my opinion,
subtext.
the proper way to watch them is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6.
Why six later?
Because you go 1, 2, or you go 4, 5, and then you get the revelation that he's Luke's father, and then you go and watch you watch Anakin's backstory.
That's a flashback.
Yeah, that's a flashback.
Yeah,
A 6-hour flashback.
that's a 6 hour flashback. That's actually kind of cool though. Like,
Right?
I actually don't mind that. That's kind of funny. I'd probably still want to do it one through
And then you get
chronological.
more of an attachment to Yoda through the prequels, and then you go, yeah, he's gonna go back to Yoda, and he's gonna train and get like super strong like Yoda, and then you come back to episode 6, and he's already dying.
Bro, no. Oh my god.
Massive, massive fucking. You're already riding off the loss of like episode 5 of him losing his hand, or yeah, I guess still losing his hand. He just gets a robotic one,
Right.
but yeah, and then fucking you get Anakin's tragic backstory.
One thing
You
about
also get
Jedi's,
the
they love
father.
chopping
There's
hands.
good in you. I feel it, and it doesn't feel corny as fuck. Because you know it. You've seen it. You've seen his good. Uh,
That's true.
so I think I don't know who came up with that method, but it was like the best one. Outside of them saying skip episode 1 because I like episode 1. Um,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
uh,
Because I don't know, number two has a lot. Like,
it has a lot of important plot elements, so you can't skip it.
well, no, I was thinking, not number two, sorry, number four or five.
Yeah.
I was like, man, number five, I was thinking about the order in which you would watch them or the story, how it progresses, losing some of the impact of knowing what's going to happen ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. Maybe four or five. It's just hard, though, because I think the continuity of the visual style is what would be hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
I also think that I remember the 4, 5, and 6 just feel more solid, I
Yeah.
guess. But that's because number 1, 2, and 3 I think felt worse because I'm like, oh, I don't care about the movie. I just care about the implications on what this means to get me to 4.
Mm.
And I feel like I'd enjoy 1, 2, and 3 a lot more if they were the first ones I saw.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, who is this little kid? Whoa, what's going on? This is cool. I'm excited for this ride. And then it like slowly progresses, you know? But you
Yeah.
really run the risk of like, then you get to 4, and it's like, ew, what is this shit? You know, and like I think for more mature audience, maybe you're fine with that. You know,
Yeah.
mature and like being able to just distinguish the two, not mature
Yeah.
age, but I
I
don't
would say
know.
like people will always have that discussion, and it usually gets very hostile. But
Right.
of like which is the proper order. So
Right.
like
It's weird to I think it's just, yeah, there's it's not really proper. It's just what you think you can handle.
yeah.
I think if you can handle sort of the jarring nature of going from 3 to 4, I would say start at number 1, kind of how we're doing them in order chronologically.
Yeah.
I would say that makes the most sense. Run through Solo, run through all the shows, Clone Wars, do all that shit. Because you know it's a big world. You're kind of building the timeline as you watch. But if you're gonna have a hard time at drawing the line between ew, this is ugly, I don't want to watch this, and you know that ahead
Yeah.
of time, then you watch 4, 5, and 6. Then you go back in 1, 2, and 3 and do it from there. But I think it's just personal preference.
Now
Um,
that now that we have Rogue One, we have to amend this new jigsaw way of watching. We have to watch Rogue One first, 4, 5, uh,
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 6, and then we watch Solo, Mandalorian. I'm just playing. Wait, hold on. Mandalorian happens in between. No, it happens after 6. So definitely, yeah. Mandalorian happens after 6. So we watch 6. So actually, yeah. So Solo is the first movie in the definitely. So you watch Solo first. Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and then Mandalorian, and then Boba because that actually happens after Mandalorian. Yeah,
And then read the books, and then stop on your right foot. Don't forget it.
yeah. Is there any? Is that it? Is that any other stuff? I thought we had way more. I mean, we have cartoons.
Right.
How about animation?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, animation. It's mature.
Or moving on to Marvel. What's going on?
I think we're good. I was just gonna wrap up. I guess our final
Yeah,
thoughts is like I'm gonna
yeah.
redact my previous giving it a 5. I think that it's weird. Depends on what lens do you look at this movie through. Is I
What do
think
you
we're
mean?
ultimately gonna like
Oh,
determine your
I thought you were
fucking.
asking me a question.
Oh no, it's in general. I think the lens
Yeah,
that you look at this movie through and critique it is gonna give you a difference. I think if you're
yeah,
critiquing it on the scale of like really solid, like high tier, high quality Star Wars lore with world building and character development and all this huge universal impact and shit, it's closer to a 5, 5.5. But I think if you look
yeah,
at it in terms of just an awesome ass, good, fun movie to watch with good characters and a cool plot, just to get you through, definitely I'd
yeah,
give it closer to an 8. And that's how I usually rate movies. So that's why I'm going to give it much higher. But
yeah,
just it's sort of the caveat, right? Because I didn't have to give a caveat for I think 1, 2, and 3. Um, this one does need the caveat that it's not as impactful. There's going to be a sort of emptiness and forgettableness of the movie
uh-huh.
versus the other ones, and that's kind of where I would leave my stance on it.
Hmm.
But it's really
Okay.
good.
I say it's good. It's just like something about it, about the movie, just makes me not want to rate it too highly, and I don't know
Right,
what that quality is about the movie. Because I love the actor that plays Han. I
right,
love Donald Glover. When he got announced that he was playing fucking Lando, I was over the fucking moon. And
right.
I was, man, I was so jaded by SJW shit. I really wanted people to just not say anything because like I knew it was gonna somebody was gonna say something about oh we're taking away light skins jobs. We're giving them to full dark.
Oh
Um,
Jesus.
it only goes the other way. I would say whenever Will Smith got uh whatever happened, he was playing Serena Williams' dad. They were like he's too light skinned, whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
not important. Yeah, I like Kira. That's Daenerys, by the way, from Game of Thrones.
Oh, cool. I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah, a lot of people don't know that because she's blonde in Game of Thrones because of the wigs. Um,
Right,
I love the droid, even though I do talk shit a lot, but no,
right.
she's fine. She's great. I love she has some of the best moments in the fucking
Oh
movie.
yeah, she's fucking hilarious.
I love the rebellion. I love that shit. It needs a new coat of paint. That was funny. And then she's like, "You wish." Uh, uh, yeah, no, I like Woody Harrelson and his gang.
Right. They're pretty
I love
cool.
like I love everyone that shows up. Fucking
Right.
Paul Bettany is amazing.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's a really good
intimidating.
bad
You
guy.
definitely believe that guy will fucking murder you.
Yeah, he's such a good bad guy. He's good vision because he's kind of awkward face when he
Yeah,
plays Vision. So he's good vision, but he's a really good bad guy.
right. Yeah, no, there was like very little I can fucking complain about.
Right. That's why I call it this emptiness. That's the only way I could describe it. Is there's a sort of
Yeah.
emptiness when it's done that it's a little forgettable.
I would say the movie's very dark. It's like maybe a complaint I have is just I can't fucking tell what's happening sometimes.
Right.
Might just be because I was watching it in the dark. I don't know.
Right. I
But
didn't see too bad, but maybe.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the movie.
But
That's what. Yeah, I know what you're saying though. I have the same similar feeling. It's like the movie's fucking awesome, but then it's like, why did you want to give it a 5 on your gut reaction? I was like, I don't know.
but I'll give it like a 6. That's still above average.
Right. Right.
Um, but I definitely wasn't excited to rewatch it. So that's another thing going into why I'm gonna give it a 6. Is I wasn't really.
Right.
I was like, eh. I'm always excited to watch 1 through 6. I don't know.
Right.
Rogue One, I'm always excited to rewatch because I fucking love that movie.
Right.
uh,
I was excited for the rewatch because I had forgotten about it.
yeah,
So I was. It was pretty cool again. It was a wild, fun ride again. But yeah, I think you know what? It's because there's no substance. And that sounds weird, but what I mean is that there's
all right,
nothing.
English teacher.
There's nothing left on the table. I think if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or any sort of like really awesome media, there's always more left on the table. There's like, oh,
I-
what about this? Watch this scene again. What about that? What about? There's just this juice that keeps flowing on rewatches. This movie, for as fucking awesome as it is, there's no more juice. Like, you can't get anything else out of it. I think that's why our discussion was pretty short, and we didn't really have much to say other than, yeah, the characters are fucking awesome, the dialogue's awesome, it's cool.
You mean like there's nothing like you're not excited to see Kira in another movie. You're not. You already know where Darth Maul ends. It's in a cartoon.
Right.
It just feels like it's just filling up backstory or plot. Like
Right.
I guess maybe yeah.
Because if you look at what number 1, 2, and 3 did to 4, 5, and 6 in regards,
Yeah.
they really added a lot of meat and potatoes. And it's funny because even earlier I mentioned something about when I was watching 1, 2, and 3 and how I think I would have liked to watch them first. Is what I said. I think I said something like, "Oh, I'm just wanting to see how do I get to number 4, right? What the fuck happened
Yeah.
to get me to 4?"
Right.
And I think, but
Okay.
they added so much meat and potatoes behind that, they were really interesting by themselves. Whereas I think this one was just sort of like they were telling an old story, right?
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
I can
Kira-
imagine this story is being told like if they had an intro scene where it's like old man Han sitting around a fire with Chewie telling somebody else their story.
Yeah.
That's what this movie was, and I think that's similar to an actual campfire story. You don't go knock on your grandpa's door the next day. Tell me the campfire story again. You heard it. You got it. You're good.
I guess yeah. Rogue One felt. I mean, Rogue One was kind of that. Oh, it's literally just the scroll, the credit scroll in the beginning of the movie of episode 4. It's literally what Rogue One is.
Right.
So we know what happens, kind of.
Rogue One's a lot more action though.
Yeah, it is a lot of it's very action heavy.
So it's like it's exciting. You know, it's like I'd watch that again. It's super exciting.
Maybe.
This one
Maybe
is
that's
just
what it is.
it's a drama of Han's upbringing.
Yeah.
They left nothing to like yeah. That's I was repeat myself. I guess it sounded weird, but I was like, there's
Yeah.
nothing on the table because I was
Yeah.
thinking about what about him going back to Coruscant? That's done. She left.
Corellia.
Or Corellia, yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's gone. She left. What about him and Chewie? Well, they're best buds. They're good. What about him and Jabba? Well, if they said they're going to Tatooine, we'll figure that out later, I guess. You know, it's like
Did it come out before that? After. They came out after Last Jedi, right?
I don't know,
I don't know. I don't know either.
but
Uh.
I just think that that's kind of what's wrong with it is that it's so awesome, but it's not. There's no retelling. There's no more reason to watch again. There's no more juice left.
I guess yeah. Last Jedi came out first because it went Force Awakens. Wait, is that the name of the movie? No, it's not the Force Awakens.
That's the first one, right? Or the first.
Yeah,
7.
Force Awakens came out, and then Rogue One came out the year after, and then the year after that was Last Jedi, and the year after that was Solo.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so we got the dice seed in Last Jedi, and then they were like, you gotta watch the movie about Han's past to see this to see why these dice are important to him.
Right.
So maybe yeah, it just yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I'll give it a 6. It's still good. I'm just
Right. It's worth a
just not
watch.
super. Yeah, worth a watch. Uh, I might have to go back down to a 5.5. So the way I'm explaining it,
Uh,
it's variable. It's somewhere in there.
right.
um, so I enjoyed a lot more small things in this on this rewatch that I missed the first time I watched the movie. So
Right. Same. But
uh,
I'm also taking notes and shit, so that
yeah.
matters. I didn't have many
Uh,
notes for this movie.
I had mental notes. Does
Mine's
that count?
mostly the dialogue.
I don't mind the dialogue.
The
Dialogue
dialogue and the
fine.
characters, they were so cool. Like that's like the best part of the movie.
Yeah. The world seemed fine.
Well,
Corellia looked cool.
I'm gonna compare this to four then, because you know what I was thinking about four. What was the for me the best part about four was the dialogue and the characters. The story's pretty plain,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, so this story is actually more interesting than four's, and the dialogue and characters were just as good as four's. So what the fuck is the difference in four? And I think it's the world.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the world that we don't get in Han, like, oh, Corellia, and it's gone. They really didn't build it. I mean, it's there a little bit. Then they go to
Mm-hmm.
the no-name planet where he's fighting on. Then they go to the no-name ice planet where they're trying to steal the train.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to his no-name casino freighter.
Yeah.
Then they go to another no-name planet to find what's his name, or Solo or Lando.
Lando.
Then after the no-name planet for Lando, then they go to the fucking what you call it the mines, which was
Mm-hmm.
cool, and that was like a really big deal. I was like, yo, it's the mines that 3PO was talking about. And they have droid slaves. No way. So I was like,
Yeah.
that planet was cool, and that's why I think the most memorable, exciting bit for me is that planet. And if you think about every other piece in the movie, it was all no-name shit except for Corellia.
Yeah.
I think that matters. I think because when I think about four, I think about Tatooine and the wild sands and what else could be out there. And I think about space. I'm like, wow, space is so big. And what about all these bad guys and bounty hunters and Alderaan got blown up. And holy cow, what does that mean? And what about this Republic? And what about the
We never
Death
had
Star?
Dantooine in the
Um,
any of the live actions. It's been mentioned in episode 4 since episode 4. I remember
right,
when we were watching episode 4. I was like, oh, she mentions Dantooine all the way back here. What the fuck?
right.
Uh, Whenever he was like, give me the
The
rebel
coordinates?
base, and yeah, give me the rebel base. What planet is the rebel base on? And she like gives up Dantooine,
Right,
and then he's like, I don't believe you, but uh, we're gonna blow up your planet anyways, or something like that. I don't remember.
right,
No, it
yeah,
said that Dantooine was too far. You're just trying to get us really far away, so I'm just gonna blow up this planet anyways
right.
to make a
Just
show
fucked
of
up.
it. Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah,
right.
Dantooine was where like the Jedi Academy is in the Knights of the Old Republic games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. Um,
But yeah, so you see what I mean though? Like four just has so much cool lore and stuff, and like world building and planets and
yeah,
interesting.
so they just name drop these planets, but we don't go there. But I don't know, just
It's
the idea
enough.
of yeah, right? It's enough.
And all these planets we actually physically got
The
to saw.
Kessel Run. We mentioned the Kessel Run. We mentioned the Dantooine. Like all this stuff is getting explored in these movies, and they
Right.
feel cool to us who are already fans. But I guess maybe not to.
Well, no, those are
There's some,
cool, but
yeah,
it's the parts for like the first like 45 minutes, even the ending scene. They were on another no-name mining planet.
yeah,
That's the problem. I think if you look at how many
refinery
no-name,
planet.
huh?
The end. They're on a refinery
Refinery,
planet.
sorry, not mining planet, no-name refinery
Yeah,
planet.
it had
But
a name. They mentioned it in
well, I guess when I say no-name, I mean that
yeah
it's not interesting enough for me to remember.
yeah
And I think
yeah
that's the problem. That's where this movie's emptiness falls in, is that
yeah
the escapades and all the cool stuff that brings a movie to life, and this is sort of the hollowness I think that I mentioned earlier, the emptiness, is
yeah
that the world was empty. All the things they did were cool, but the places and environments that they were in weren't memorable at all. And that's what left the movie feeling hollow, I think. Because I love the characters, I love the action, I love the motivations, I love the plot, I like all of that. But I think the setting, the scene, and the world was just empty.
yeah
So I think that's what takes away from the movie compared to other ones.
yeah
And it's sort of Star Wars syndrome too. I don't think this would be a big deal, but it's Star Wars, so it automatically gets compared. Not gonna say should, but it does get compared to other ones,
yeah
and that's what leaves it feeling more empty. Speaking of, we'll get there eventually, but just as a tiny thing before we get to short story, not too much tangent. This is another thing I think now that I'm retrospecting about uh, 8, maybe? It's number 8, I think, where,
Should I?
yeah, I think so, where there's that forested planet that Leia was on, where the rebels were, where she was training in the woods with the ball.
I do not recall. I guess I
Well,
got to rewatch that one.
there, well, I gotta rewatch it too when we get there, but I remember there was a planet that was a bunch of forest in there, and the rebels were there, and what's her name? Rhea was training, and that was it. Um,
Yeah.
that planet, I have no idea what that was, why that was there. The new Death Star planet they go to, I mean, it had like terrain, but it was a little uneventful. Just a big ice place. The forest that she fought dude in number 7,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
a random empty forest. Like I just think that so many places I remember, except for the casino planet, that's a cool idea. Um, a lot of the places I think in
That
7, 8,
plot.
and
Cool idea.
right. So 7, 8, and 9, I think had these. No, I like the one place, but again, it had personality, it had character. When what's his name? When I always get them too confused. Who's the pilot? The cool guy?
Oh,
Poe. I always call him Finn. Weird.
Finn is
Um,
the ex-stormtrooper
he
that
looks like a Poe to me. Maybe it's his chubby cheeks. He looks like a Poe to me. But yeah, so Poe. His planet where he met his old girlfriend. That place
Yeah.
was cool. I distinctly remember how awesome that place was, and I want to see what's going to happen here. Like, are the bad guys going to win? What's going on? They're on curfew. Are they fighting? Like, all that shit was super cool. And
Yeah.
I watched that movie years ago, so it's like that sticks with me. None of the areas except for the Kessel and the cool mining planet, really, and Corellia. None of the rest of the whole chunk of the movie stick with me at all,
Yeah.
and I think that matters.
Okay.
But that's my last
Yeah.
little thought.
Yeah. As like on a world building note, it does seem like the other stuff doesn't really matter. Like we're there for like a scene or two, and it's not like it doesn't give you enough to want you to go. Remember that planet? No, yeah, I
Right.
got you.
And those are the things. That's the sort of the meat and potatoes in the background that keep you on rewatch or keep you wanting more in some sense.
Hmm.
That I think it was just lacking. You see it in anime too. In more like less well done animes, it's
Hmm.
like, hey, we're here and we're fighting in like a city or something. It's like, well, and then you remember that just being like not cool or not as interesting. It's like, why? It was a cool scene. It was a cool fight. But then it's like when you in retrospect, it's like, well, where were they? Why was that important? Could they have done better? You know,
Yeah.
there's just so many layers that go into storytelling that I think are unthought of, or like we don't notice it as viewers, and maybe even writers don't always notice it. That makes something good.
Hmm.
It's why uh, literary analysis is so important. Like the shit that we're doing is so important. I mean, it's not really important for like global warming or some shit or like save the planet, but I say it's so important because I don't know. I never thought about this, and as someone who thinks critically about media, I never thought about the idea that a planet that you just happen to be on needs to be as impactful or interesting, even if it's not. Because Tatooine had nothing to do with 4, and it's
Yeah.
really awesome. Like,
It's just the planet that Luke
yeah,
comes from, right?
it's just a
Yeah.
shitty bum planet. Hey, it's a shitty planet and there's desert. Let's get the fuck out of here. That's it. That's all it could have been, all it needed to be. But it's just so captivating. I'm like, whoa, look at the sun. Like when he's standing there in the background of the suns, all in the sunset, I'm like, holy shit. And they had the Tusken Raiders or the Sand People. They had the little Jawas. They had a whole ecosystem. A whole,
Right.
I was like, wow, this place is fucking cool. Then you go to the bar and they're playing the music and shit. And like the bad guys are there. Han's doing a bounty, like not a bounty, but like a bounty hunter, cool stuff in there. It's like, wow, they have not rebels, what do you
He's a
call them?
smuggler. He's not a bounty hunter.
Well, whatever, I
Uh,
guess. But they have those cool things going on right under your nose.
you're right.
It's like, man, this is a bad boy planet, and it's just the mystique just grows exponentially. In the what, 10 minutes we're on that planet?
Are we only 10 minutes on there?
I don't know, maybe longer than 10 minutes because you did a lot of scenes with him in the house and the droids.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a pretty good chunk of the movie. I lied.
I'm gonna go with 20 minutes. I don't know.
Right. But it was enough that like maybe I'm diminishing this credit,
Yeah.
but I think overall, that's kind of a
But they
weird.
spent the time there to show you all that stuff, right? About that,
Right.
yeah.
And I guess you could argue they needed that time to introduce the characters. I
Yeah.
guess. But it did help me that the world was interesting in its own right. I think it's also too if you look at how I think this is just a problem too for like games or not games as well, video games and movies that have space travel.
Hmm.
and I'm gonna call it specifically space travel because when I think about teleporters or like the MacGuffin paintings in like Mario 64, those always feel good somehow. Somehow those feel connected because the hub world itself feels like it's teleporting you there, which makes it
Yeah.
interesting in its own way. But any place where you have to travel, I think that's where I notice so many times that I'm thinking about it just felt like shit. Biggest one that comes to mind is Metroid Prime 3. I begged and wanted more worlds, right? I was one of those fans who fucking just loved number one and like, God, number two kind of sucked, but it was really big and it was kind of cool. But I want more worlds and more. What if I get to go on the ship and I get to fly around and oh my God? And then I got 3 or 4 worlds, but they were all tinier and didn't give me
Yeah.
enough time to like grow with them, and it just felt bad. Like those worlds sucked compared to Metroid Prime One, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like they even had similar shit going on. And it was like, well, because there's something charming or awesome about you're growing into a world and it's growing with you, and different characters are introduced that way. Because if you think about when they introduced Lando, Lando was introduced almost in a very similar way that Han was in 4. The difference being it was a random planet that just kind of showed up to and kind of was dropped in.
Yeah.
It's like you're dropped in, you're dropped out. So we didn't really get anything about that world. It almost makes the world feel unimportant as fuck. But imagine they found Lando on Corellia. That would have
Uh,
been cool. I mean, I guess you'd have to really MacGuffin the fuck out of the story, right? It'd be a totally different story.
well, no, because I think it'd be like definitely like if they had to go back to Corellia, him and I think that's really cool. If Han and Kira had to go back to Corellia, and then they could like you could show the passage of time of them having left, and what's
Right.
the status of like what was that lady that fucking owned them, um, and they're trying to keep away from like people like that because
Right. And they would know the streets but not know them
yeah
because they've been away. And you see what I mean? Yeah, that would be awesome. And it would be like, wow, Lando's there? What's he doing there? What kind of guy is he? Does he know the lady who was, and then maybe you introduce that again.
yeah
And all of a sudden that movie becomes twice as memorable and just as good as 4, I think.
mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
just that small change.
Yeah.
And it's like, so little shit like that really does matter. Also, where they're pulling the heist off of. They're pulling this heist off on a random train in the middle of fucking nowhere. It'd be pretty cool if they were pulling it off on, like, those ships that they're building on that planet who need that energy? There you
Yeah.
go. Like, yeah, I get it. Maybe it's like you want to explore the galaxy. He's a ship doing guy. But you could have still went to Kessel and done that shit. You didn't have to keep it so self-contained.
Hmm.
But I think that a little bit of self-containment makes the world grow as the media presents itself and unfolds, and it makes it so much more interesting because you feel like you're a part of what's going on. But when you keep jumping from scene to scene to scene, from place to place, you don't grow any sort of attachment with those places.
I can agree.
But hopefully, I mean, that's neither here nor there. Was it retro? Hindsight's 2020.
Right.
But this is good though because this is the sort of discussion I have no business talking to anybody in Hollywood. So these podcasts, I don't know if we got a million views yet, but
Nope.
well, maybe this news gets out or this sort of thought process gets out, and then people will think about it. But that's the first steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
So to anybody who's hanging out, listening, and who appreciates the stuff that we talk about and the ways that we think, it's like, well, this is why. Because it's not about bitching and shitting on something. It's about understanding why and saying, oh shit, what if they did that? That does sound good. Education.
Trey,
We
Trey
gotta start.
wants to educate you
We gotta
guys.
start tagging our videos as education.
Uh, I no.
No, I'm fucking with you.
I tag him as entertainment and
Yeah, education.
commentary.
What? We're totally edutaining you. I actually don't.
Education.
I don't know. I think we're. I don't know if we're entertaining. Maybe we are. Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard to say because I'm not very witty or funny. We're a lot funnier, I think, when we've both been drinking, but I don't drink as much at all anymore. So it's like that takes away from the excitement factor. But I don't know. We got a couple jokes here and there, maybe.
All right.
But
Well,
anyway,
you guys like, subscribe,
yeah.
go to our Patreon. I know I haven't uploaded in a minute, but I'm working on that.
Lazy motherfucker.
Well, I mean, we've been busy at work and stuff, so uh, I was like, Gundo is about to go in surgery, so we're all working like 6 days a week
He's
now.
working 6 days a week. He's overworked. He's tired. He's starving. And if you send $1 a day, you could help a
I'm not
starving
stopping. I'm
George.
actually getting kind of fat.
Oh
I'm
shit!
185 pounds.
Never mind. Keep your money.
That's fat, just in case y'all know.
It's
Uh,
true. He's only 5'2".
I'm 5'10", 5'9". We'll go with 5'9". Yeah,
Oh shit!
that sounds about right. But you know,
I'm actually six
shit.
foot three and
I mean,
250
shit.
pounds.
Oh, the doctor told Dennis is 6'3" ass that he needs to be 185 pounds.
Yeah, well, fuck
So
that. He would die. If you're 6'3",
apparently, if you're 185 and you're not 6'4", you're overweight.
no, you
Um,
need to be, I think, at minimum 200 at 6'3". I mean, it depends though. If you're athletic, I mean, you could be skinnier, I think. But if you're like at least any kind of athletic or like thicked out,
nah, Doggo was 185 after he did meth. So
right?
after like that summer that he was doing meth,
So yeah, that probably looked emaciated,
yeah, he looked disgusting, and
right?
he was six
So
foot
there you
three.
go. You heard it here, folks. 200 if you're over 6'3", minimum 200.
All right. Well, yep. Do the things, and
Yep.
if Anthony's here, I'm gonna go test out your game.
Hell yeah, do the thing. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one.
Peace.